What is happening, everybody? What is up? What is up? Welcome to RiDetroit Weekly. I am your guest, Jason, the Jason of all trades, as they call me on Instagram. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are up to 107 subscribers. Man, life feels good. Once we cross that 100 threshold, we know there's nothing stopping us now. Before we get going into this week's show, which we have one of my favorite people in the world, I gotta say what's up and thank Chip Amo for last week. Man, he came on. We talked about his love for bikes and how we met on Mackinac, but we also talked about some important information about how you can go to the Henry Ford website and get as much information about the current pandemic and vaccines, all that stuff that's important and going down today, so we can start getting people back into the swing of things. We got the door open today. We're letting the air flow through, so everybody get out there and stay safe. Man, before I get into everything, you know I gotta tell you what to do. I'm gonna not tell you. Let me try that again. Let me ask you nicely. Hit that subscribe button. We're at 107, but we're trying to hit our next goal, which is 500. Every level that we get to gives us a little bit more stuff and a little bit more access. So it's up to you guys now to help us out. The 100 people that signed on, we need you to start sharing. We need you to start talking about how good the show is and getting more people out here. In the meantime, also, do you ride with RiDetroit? It's a really cool thing we got going on right now. If you ride with RiDetroit, please go and take photos, hashtag RiDetroit, let people know how you're riding, where you're riding. We are getting the season in full swing. I've been booking tours all week. We've been taking rental calls all week. Mother Nature opened up and said, yes, it is time to ride. So come on in. We got some great bikes on sale. We still got a ton of last year's rentals on sale at great prices. So you can come in and get those. And we got 2021 stuff starting to slide in. So definitely come by and see what's up. All right. Now, we shall move on. Like I said, I am so excited to have my dude on. Charlie, I owe this dude like my life, honestly. Like, little backstory on this, and he'll probably say that I don't owe him, but for those who don't know, like really Tedx was the first really breakout for me doing like public speaking. I had done some public speaking on a smaller level, but Tedx was like really my first time really stepping out and being able to talk to a group of people that were designers and entrepreneurs, much like myself, that shared similar ideas. So I'm gonna bring Charlie on. We're gonna talk about the beginnings, and we're going to talk about what Tedx is, because funny story is also when Charlie called and asked me did I want to do Tedx, I said yes before I even knew what it was. So I'm going to talk to you guys. For those who don't know what Tedx, ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Wollborg. What's up, Charlie?
Hello.
How are you, brother?
Thanks for having me on the show, Jason.
Oh, brother, man, like I said, I owe you this appearance. I owe you so much more than this appearance, man.
No, no.
I don't even know. People ask me years later, they would say, how did Apple find out about you? Or how did this happen? I would always say, I don't know. But what it came down to was they saw my TEDx. So first of all, I now know what TEDx is. I know you heard me say it. The first time you called, I don't say no to anything. So when you called, I said, yep, I'll do it. And then I called my friend Dante and I said, hey, what's TEDx? And he said, you idiot. You should probably just start figuring out what you're going to say for the next 12 minutes, because you gave me quite a bit of time to go up there and flop, which I luckily did not do. But Charlie, what is happening, man? How are you?
I'm doing great. If we're grading on the pandemic curve, I'm knocking on every piece of wood I can find. So
Right on, man. Right on. So for those who don't know what TEDx is, I mean, I don't want to say everybody should know, but there are people who, I think if you're not in the avenue or vein of like I said, entrepreneur or design, is something that can slip through the cracks. But it's not just what I learned about design. It's about inspiration. It's about
right. Oh
motivation.
yeah.
And so can you talk to people about what TEDx really is and how you started it?
Well, I like to think of the real power of TEDx is that it's about cross pollination. You're an expert in everything that's happening in bikes. I like to pretend I'm an expert in everything that's happening in design, but we go so deep on our expertise, we forget that creativity comes from cross pollination. So what TED does is bring together all these disparate fields and give everyone a few minutes to share an idea of what they're creating. And hopefully you see that idea from a different field and it sparks new innovation in your own field. So it's, it started in 1984 as a big conference in California. About 12 years ago, they launched the X program to take it around to cities around the country. And we've been doing it since 2009.
And how do you pick, because when I go, there's always a variation, a mix of local, national. I mean, I saw the dude who did the voice for Pinky and the Brain. I mean, that's the type of stuff that's going down. I think when people think design and engineering and stuff like that, that it's like this group of nerds and we're all working with blocks. But this is an amazing thing. How do you even start to put the list together of who you're going to ask to be at a TED?
So TED was originally an acronym meaning technology, entertainment, and design, three fields that drive innovation. As we started it, we really wanted to say, look, who was either born, educated, or working in Detroit that is inspiring people and creating good stuff? Because remember, in 2009 when we started, the news of the day was not entirely positive. And so we really wanted TEDx to be kind of a lifeboat and say, look, yes, the big companies are struggling, but there are all these little entrepreneurs and creators that are doing cool stuff. So we kind of have a formula where we say, look, we want an architect, we want an educator, we want an entertainer, and we'll go through engineering and design. We have this kind of checklist that we're trying to fill in so that even if you don't like this one speaker, wait 5 minutes, the next one's coming up with a new idea to get you to think outside of your comfort zone.
So when you're picking guests, do you say, all right, a certain percentage of this has to be local, or does it just end up being that way, or is that part of the thought process?
For us, every speaker has to have a tie to Michigan or Detroit. So even our like Rob Paulson, who was the voice of Pinky and the Brain, was born, educated, grew up, started working in Detroit. He's living in LA now because he's working for Steven Spielberg, but he still bleeds red for the Red Wings and considers himself a Detroiter. Same with the director we had from Pixar, James Ford Murphy, born and raised here, then went off to Pixar to create movies.
So much talent. What we're talking about, they were here and then they left. They were here and then they left. How do we address sort of the issue of retention? That's really what Detroit has to deal with. Is that, first of all, we have to have people understand that culture does exist here and stuff like TED exists here, so it's worth being here. But how do we deal with all the young talent coming to TEDx? They're seeing all this stuff, but then they get motivated to leave.
See, I think that if we go back to when you came to TEDx, the reason we invited you is because we were all big Slow Roll fans, and you had this line you'd always say about you don't know the city until you've experienced it on two wheels. Because in the Motor City, we drive past those hills, we don't feel the city. You don't feel the bump of those brick streets. And I've taken countless rides with you, and you see the neighborhoods on a different level. You see the city on a different level. You interact with people. You're not just moving, you're experiencing. And I think the more we can introduce people to what you're doing with bringing the city to life, the more we can, Jeff Daniels, another person who could work anywhere in the world, chooses to do it here in Michigan. Bob up at Cherry Republic, that could be a national brand, but it's so Michigan focused. There are people who are great ambassadors for the city, and so we want to shine a light on them and amplify their message, because that's how we retain that talent. Now there's some people like we had Planetary Sciences working on the Pluto missions. That's something you really can't do in Detroit, but we were so grateful that we've had people from NASA come back and speak here. But Michigan creates cool people. We're a gritty, creative, industrious. We're great at reinventing. So I think we'll always be a place where people start, and hopefully a place where people come back, or maybe don't even have to leave to create their art.
And you have not only been an amazing person who recognizes talent in your speakers, but your team, the team at TEDx, is an all-star team, how do you cultivate that talent? Do they come to you? I mean, once I got involved with TEDx, I knew I didn't want to leave. Is that how this generally works?
Yes, yeah. So people come and sit in the audience and like, how do I get involved? And I'm I'm a big scatterbrain. I'm great with kind of the ether. I'm not so good with the details, and so the team I've assembled really plugs all my weaknesses in the boat and keeps us afloat. So our team's incredible. Nick Denardis has been here all except the first year. The technical details he does to record these, to stream these, to put these on stage in front of thousands of people and thousands of people streaming is just incredible. You have Terry Bean who'll come in and he's kind of like MacGyver, and you can talk to him about any problem you have, and you give him rubber bands and duct tapes, and he comes up with a solution. Janet Tyler, other executive producer, she's this coach that really knows how to bring ideas out of people and get them to formulate what can be a great idea into a great talk. So it takes our Voltron of everyone coming together and kind of sharing their gift to make the event happen.
Yeah, yeah. So have you had that moment where you were just like, has one speaker really stuck out for you? That you say, this is the one that's changed my life, that you remember out of everybody, because you have so many memorable people but is there one that just sticks out that you said that was the one that changed, besides mine, obviously? I mean,
Jason Hall is number one.
Besides mine.
I still remember watching the Super Bowl when your ad comes on, and I'm yelling to everyone at the Super Bowl, I know him! That's my friend Jason! He's on TV! What's funny is, because we go right brain and left brain, and there's very, scientific talks and creative talks and emotional talks, if you talk to people, they all list different speakers as their favorite. There's usually not a unanimous opinion of, wow, that was the speak. It's what you need to hear that day. Right. So the talk that just hit me like a ton of bricks was a poet named Blair, who's passed away, unfortunately. He spoke a few times doing a performance, spoken word performance. He did a poem called Detroit While I Was Away, talking about how all the things in Detroit affect us and make us who we are. And I was crying by the end of his talk. Then Amr Zar, who's a stand-up comic and a law professor, talked about what it's like to be an immigrant running for student government during 9/11.
I remember that.
And it just like, you hear these talks and like, I don't have that experience, but I feel it when I listen to those talks.
And you don't know about anybody's speech before this, do you? Do they send you the speech, or do you have?
We do a lot of massaging to help get the message where it is. But there are still people who they'll have a great talk and they decide to freelance.
Yeah.
Whenever a talk starts with, well, I had a talk prepared, but after hearing the other people, I really want to talk about something else, and you're just like, no. Because we built a program. We need you to talk about science. You're here as the science. We need you to be the CEO. But people hear the personal stories and they all want to make it back to their personal story. So.
No, absolutely. Like I said, when I got there, I'm not gonna lie. I knew what I was gonna say, but like you said, you hear somebody right before you, and I think the guy who went before me made cockroach robots, or made robots. And so
Greg Gage, Backyard Brains. Just one of the most amazing companies you'll ever see, teaching neuroscience to kids. He calls it DIY neuroscience.
And so I'm like going after this guy, and he's talking about, neuroscience, and I'm like, I just ride a bike. So like immediately I'm thinking, all right, I gotta change. I gotta come with something, or what I took from that is when people would have like a one-liner and sort of break the crowd down. I didn't know anything about that. So like, trust me, I definitely changed my speech, man, but you can't not, because once again, you're inspired by these people that are putting everything out there. Like I know people who've spoken, and when they got done, like when Rula did her thing, it was an emotional moment for both of us, to have gone through that. So I commend you on picking amazing guests and doing an amazing job. But let's talk about now. Now we're talking pandemic. How did we pivot? Or how do we pivot and keep? Because did you guys do a TEDx last year?
We did do a virtual one,
Okay.
but hey, another Zoom conference.
Seriously.
Because my favorite thing about TED is that buzz in the room that you get. I call it the charged particles. When you bring that many creative people together and ideas and people bounce off one another, it's really exciting. So, I think, yes, you can. There's a library of TED Talks and TEDx Detroit Talks out on YouTube. You can do that. But I think the best thing you can do if you need inspiration is to get away from the computer and hop on your bike. Because so often when we're stuck at work, what do? We open up social media or we play a game. We're going from screen to screen, and you're not changing your physiology if you're going from screen to screen. If you're going to take a break from your work, hop on your bike and change your inputs. So, like we go back, you experience the city in a different way, experience your neighborhood in a different way. Get out, get fresh air, get your blood pumping. That's where creativity is going to come from right now. Hopping on your bike can be as inspiring as any TED talk, but take a different route. Take the same route, but go backwards. You have to change up your inputs. That's so important for creativity and life.
No, absolutely. We're looking at some photos right now, and these photos, I mean, every year I always say, is this thing going to be sold out? And then I get there and it's sold out. What is the next step? When so we're trying to reacclimate, but I know you're always looking to go bigger. What do you look for?
Our goal, we had announced last January that TEDx 2020 was going to be at Ford Field. It was going to be the biggest TEDx we've ever done. We're already one of the biggest in the world, and this was going to be next level stuff. We designed staging. We were going to do labs in the corridor. We were going to have people down on the field playing in between. We had great entertainment lined up, and then the pandemic hit, so we had to pivot. So this year we'd love to be back at Ford Field, but we're not in charge. The science is in charge. So hey, if we keep doing great on vaccinations, if we keep flattening the curve, and it's safe to bring people together, then we'll bring people together. But the goal is to inspire creativity and promote Detroit, and the last thing we're going to do is put anybody in trouble.
No, absolutely. So you're sort of in a holding pattern. I mean, are you working on a sort of a show? Are you, sort of waiting to hear like we are, we're at the shop and we're just waiting to hear the next news, then when we can move forward. It's got to be difficult right now to sort of pseudo plan something of that magnitude. First of all, how long in advance do you start even planning, TEDx?
We usually take a month or two off and then we go right back at it, about 10 months.
Yeah.
So, we're curating the show all year long. We have an application period that's about a month, but about 2/3 of the speakers are people that, we're continually watching the news and watching media and looking for people who are making it happen. Or when we find a new shop or a new chef, then we have a list where everyone on the team is writing down like, oh my gosh, I just met this incredible woman. You got to put her on stage.
Right.
So we have that list ongoing. Now we have 2 years worth of inspiration. The docket's really going to be full. we need the go ahead to go. And I'm really hoping, like for labs, how cool would it be to do an Electric Avenue ride and drive around the rim of Ford Field? That'd be incredible.
Oh, brother.
When we've done rides with you, we've done traditional rides on bikes and e-bikes. Everybody, the first time they step on an e-bike, the smile that comes on their face, I mean, you really revert back to 8 years old. Like, whee, the training wheels are off, and you're doing the same work but seeing 4 times as much stuff. I mean, it really revolutionizes bike riding for you. And I'd love people to get on an e-bike because see more.
Yeah.
There's no downside to e-bikes. They are really just
and
so
what's
much
cool
fun.
Is it's the perfect bike for an event like a TEDx or a pre-TEDx because we can have conversation. When we're on a standard bike on a hot day, no one's saying a word. We're all just worried about getting home and getting a glass of water. On an e-bike, we can go out, not only see stuff, but we can really enjoy each other's company by having that conversation. So yeah, the e-bike, we're gonna do it. I mean, when it's time, we're gonna do a ride. You're talking Ford Field. I got another big plan that I'm working on. So we'll get together on this and we'll combine our big plans. We're talking all this about TEDx, but you're more than TEDx. You know what I mean? Like what are you in your real life when you're not superhero Charlie? You know what I mean? Like when you're not putting the cape on and bringing thousands of people together. What are you doing right now that is regular Charlie work that we can talk about?
So my day job is I run a small marketing design firm called Curve, and we help companies design annual reports and do truck wraps and billboards and logo design. That eats up most of my day job. My side hustle is I'm an author of children's books. I do a series of books called Mocha Boca, and
Awesome.
it's like a continuing adventure. Our whole idea is that we want kids to be the heroes of their own story. So every book that you get has a different name and face in it. So you put yourself in the book, and it's an ongoing adventure, a fun bedtime story.
I
So that's Mocha
love.
Boca. That's my other gig.
Where did that come from? When did you decide, to write a kid's book? You're like, hey, I'm planning this big event. I'm working on a design, doing my own design firm. Oh, I think I'll write a kid's book.
Well, being a parent, like you're always trying to entertain your kids. So I would make up these stories, and they were pretty good. So I just started writing them down, and then we always hear about representation matters, and you want to see it's if you are in a crowded room in the middle of a conversation and someone says Jason, it's like saying bacon to a dog. Your head immediately turns. It's the word that gets you in. So if you want a kid to pay attention, put the kid in the story. And so it makes books that much more interesting. This is a great story, but it's a story about me, so it's an amazing story. So that's really where the idea came from.
And where can we get the books? I mean, are they at bookstores, online?
Well, because each one is made custom because it has your kid in it, you have to make them online. Each one's a first edition. So you go to mochaboca.com. It's mokaboka.com.
I
Mocha
love
Boca
it.
sounds like fun.
I love it. I'm ordering one for my 6-year-old. Avery is getting a book as soon as I get off of this. Charlie, man, before I let you go, my man, I mean, I know you got some stuff. I'm horrible about this. What do you got going on? I know, like I said, you're planning TEDx, but what can we talk about? Anything? Should we go to the website right now to start prepping for this?
Yeah, so we had a meeting on Monday with the whole team, and everybody is just like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. But we really don't want to make any commitments until we get the all clear from the scientists. We're going to do what's smart for everybody there. We want it to be a positive experience. The last thing you want to be doing is worrying about it. So in the meantime, let's get out of, let's do a murals from the market tour. There's so many great things to see outside right now. Wander through Greenfield Village, go through the artisan village there. There's lots of ways to kind of get those TED experiences outside. And as the weather keeps getting better, Michigan keeps getting better.
Absolutely. And is there a database of past speakers? Like, can I go to a website and find those somewhere? How?
If you go to YouTube and search TEDx Detroit,
Okay.
You'll get a list of all the different speakers, all the videos. We've had hundreds and hundreds of speakers over the dozen years we've been doing this.
I'm telling you,
So
man.
look for a couple talks from Jason Hall. They're really good.
It's funny. When I did my thing, you're like, you're gonna have. I think I had 12 minutes, and I thought that was like regular. So once again I called my tutor that I had at the time, and I said I have 12 minutes, and he went, "What?" He goes, "Most people get like 5 minutes." I'm like, well, we'll see how this one works out. And then I got you riding around on a bike in the crowd, and that helped me actually like calm down.
I bought that bike, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I could focus on you having fun, and that just made me have fun up there. And like I said, I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for me. Not even just with a lot, the TEDx, but the rides that we've done together and the energy that you've always had behind me, man. I love you. I love you. I love you, brother. I can't wait till we do
Man,
another TEDx and get back out here.
we are so thankful to have you here in Detroit, and you're the best ambassador for our city and our state and cycling and creativity. So
Damn you.
thank you.
Stop it. Stop it, man. I didn't do this so you would do that. Okay. You were supposed to just say, thanks, man. Have a good day. All right. But now I'm happy. I'm smiling. Charlie, I can't wait to see you. Thanks for coming out and hanging out today, man. I know I miss all the meetings, but now you see why. I'm trying to sell e-bikes, trying to rent e-bikes and do tours, man. But I'm always down for the family. Anything you guys need from me, let me know.
Dude, call Electric Avenue, get out on a ride. You've got to see the city with Jason, and you've got to experience on an e-bike. It's even more fun.
Charlie, I hate you. Stop doing this. All right, I'll talk to you later, man. I'm going to call you in a little while. We're going to go for a bike ride.
Sounds great.
All right, love you, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Wollborg, AKA Charlie Curve. My man, dude, I am smiling from ear to ear because whenever I get to show who I think, I think Charlie kind of falls and TEDx falls through the cracks. Like I said earlier, when if you're in the vein of design and engineering and entrepreneurism, yeah, you know what TEDx is. But this conference is not just for those people. It's for anybody who is thinking about changing their lives. If you want to go hear some of the most amazing speakers, go to their YouTube channel. Definitely look mine up because I'm gonna have to talk to Charlie about. I haven't done a TEDx national. I've actually done TEDx in Canada. I've done it twice here. I need to hit that national stage, so we're gonna talk to Charlie about that. Thanks for hanging out today, everybody. Before I let you go, I'm gonna tell you. Ask you nicely. Please go and hit that subscribe button. The more you subscribe, the more that once again we get to bring you quality stuff. And the more we can do stuff like buy wireless mics and cameras and improve upon the quality of everything that we're doing. And you can actually hit some likes and comments too, because I would love to hear from you. So if you have any questions or any suggestions on any guests that I should have, put them in the comments. I will get back to you. I want to thank our sponsors this week, Loomis Helmets. I want to thank Griffin Claw Brewing. I, of course, want to thank Electric Avenue Bikes, our home. The home of RiDetroit, where we do bike rentals and bike tours. So if you want any of that information, feel free to stop by. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 6. Give us a call, 313-752-1186. Ask for Jason. Let's talk about a tour. American Cycle and Fitness, my people over there, bikes are coming in. So if you have bikes on order, make sure you call those guys, get your bikes picked up. Wingman Water, and last but not least, Tapped Beverages, the maker of the Purple Power Up. This is our signature drink that we have on tap in the shop. The name of it is the Purple Power Up. I'm not 100% sold on that. I think we're going to run a contest to see if we can get a name for this thing, because I feel like electric might be in there, or, something, that zzz, because that's what I feel when I drink this stuff, all right? Everybody else, man, this is it. I usually say see you Saturday, but I will be releasing Murals in the Market stuff every Thursday. I'll be throwing out I did interviews with 40 different artists. So I'll be putting those out so you can catch up on those. Other than that, man, thanks for coming back, and we'll see you next week.